What's up guys, if you like seeing awesome Smash clips from players like me, MKLeo, and more, well guess what, I got a new sponsor. They are called Fresh Cut, and I think this is something you guys would really like if you like stuff on this YouTube channel already. Thank you so much. What's up guys, so let me tell you about my run through Japanese brackets, because Japan was a fucking rough trip. So there was 5 events I played in, and I'll go through them in order. First one, like the after I got there, Maesuma. Now, let me tell you, when I was playing friendlies with people before Maesuma, I was surprised at how good the average player was. Legitimately, the average player in Japan is just so much harder to fight, and part of it is they know my character matchups, right? Min is very common there. I'll get more to this later, but Japanese Min is fucking insane as well. I am not surprised I can't go Min versus these players after seeing how good the average Min is. Olimar is also very common. Although surprisingly, that was a character I felt most comfortable with throughout my entire trip in Japan. Just because I think I'm very well versed in Olimar matchups and very well versed in different playstyles with him, along with the fact that Japanese Olimars aren't particularly good at applying pressure, and I feel like my ability to apply pressure with purple and yellow Pikmin in particular, and just like aerial spacing, was something that Japanese players weren't super accustomed to. And then Rosa, actually, I thought I would have a much easier time playing Rosa in Japan than I did. And this is definitely coming into play later, but no, they're really good versus Rosa there. Between having Yuzu and Yamadi, and then like other like lower level Rosas that all apply the tech. Like I noticed playing against a Rosa in friendlies actually, I'll talk about this later, and then watching them, they all apply all the tech for Rosa. So the Japanese players were more than ready to fight against the tech. And that caught me off guard. Yeah, so my first event, Maesuma, I kind of just got farmed. My first set was versus a Game Watch player that was pretty good. I beat him easily, but it was pretty good. Then I fought a Ninja player. Game 3 last hit after I SD'd at 0 game 1. That was very difficult. And then I got put into losers. You know, I fought afterwards. I think I fought like a Duck Hunt, whatever. Just go Olimar there. And then I fought a 13-year-old Min player named Dorigami. Or Dorigam, something like that, yeah. Dorigama. And that is when I learned why Japan hates Min. Because this 13-year-old Min player was so insane with Min, so fast, so clean, had the cheese, the combos, the edge guards down. And I was like, bro, I need to copy what this guy does. He's insane. I learned at that moment, don't go Rosa versus Min. Do I listen to myself? No, I probably should. But I remember playing the matchup and going, you know, I thought this matchup was kind of fine. Never mind, I'm wrong about that. I think it was 2-1, but it didn't feel like 2-1. I'll tell you that much. It was 2-0. Anyway. And then in losers, I fought a very good Rob player that gave me trouble. I fought a very good Pit player that gave me trouble. They have a lot of Pits in Japan, actually, and they're very good with just, like, being hard to hit. And then I fought Sigma's Toon Link, which I did not know the matchup. I thought I did from playing the character myself, but there's not very much Toon Link to fight against in America. Sigma knew how to fight Olimar and Rosa, and I kind of just lost there, 2-0. And that was my first Japanese event, where I got 33rd. Right at the matchups, I just did not know how to fight. The players there were also just really hard to fight because they're really hard to hit. And this was before I kind of realized like how to fight the Japanese players, I'll say. I believe then I had some practice time. I think I went to Shuton's house once. I went to Shuton's apartment like 3 or 4 times. And bro, Shuton's apartment is insane for practice, by the way. Because there, at least when I was there was constantly good players there. Maybe it's because it was Golden Week. But I got to fight like Mia, Akola, a really good Fox named Kananabe, a really good Crom named, oh my god, what was his tag? Lax, who actually beat me in a Shuton house bracket. Who else? I fought Alice, who was a very good Roy player, also plays Misordi. I need to show you guys Misordi in Japan, by the way, in America. Because Japanese Misordi actually is a very, like, they use the shuriken and, like, the kind of the dive side B and down B moves, and they're really annoying. I'm kind of like, I don't think the character's great, but the character might low-key be underexplored. So I got a lot of good practice at Shuton's house multiple times. I fought a very good Isabel player as well there. Oh, it was just insane. Yeah, so there was a Shuton single limb, like, house bracket. I fought a Crom player named Blax who beat me 3-2 in Rosa Crom. I messed up some edge guards, to be fair, but it was like, he was very good. The same Crom ended up beating Zamba at Delta a little bit later. And he ended up doing very well also at Kagaribi, I think. Japan has a lot of killers, by the way. Let me tell you right now. Every bracket in Japan, like, is full of hidden killers that are top players in the ladder that have barely gone to events and therefore don't get seeded properly at all and can make crazy runs. So after losing to Lax at the single limb Shuton bracket, I think it was Smash Bootcamp afterwards, Dude, I was annoyed because I thought this event counted for rankings, and then found afterwards it did not. And like it wasn't clearly communicated to the American players that didn't, but apparently it was communicated to Japanese players, it doesn't count. And I was annoyed because I beat Udis and Mia in bracket sets there, losing to Shuton and Riddles. My Mia set was very funny because I beat his game watch, a really hard game 1. He switches the hero game 2, like Japanese heroes, I can't read the menu. But what I did actually is I know the menu like spell costs approximately. So what I did is I would look at how much the spell costs based on when he was hovering, and I could tell what he's going for. Like, oh, it's a low cost spell far away, going for a buff. Oh, it's a higher cost spell farther away, probably gonna be a Kasizzle, was it Kafrizz or Kaboom, whatever it is. Oh, he's at this kind of like mid-rangey. It's kind of a mid-cost spell, probably a slash. And like I was legitimately looking at the costs along with just like playing around, like what spell is he going for with these spacings to beat that. I fought Mute, just went Min Min, and Peach Min Min sucks. He still almost beat me in one of the games. But yeah, the matchup's garbage. And I just lost to Shuton going Aegis because I could have won that too. But anyway, he knows how to fight Olimar way too well. And then I wasn't edge guarding enough with Rosa. And then when I fought Riddles, I kind of just died because I cornered myself too much versus him. So that was my bootcamp event, small event, whatever. And then Delta. And then Delta, I ran to Mao, a Min Min Roy player. Mostly plays Roy with Min Min versus me. And once again, I hate Japanese Min Min. I understand now why Japan hates Min Min. I never want to fight against Min Min in Japan. I also want to copy the Japanese Min Min now. I fought them and I understand what it feels like to fight against them. I'm going to try to kind of copy that feeling because they're so good at like controlling the advantage state. Like so good at throwing out arms to really limit your ability to move in the air, and so good at using platforms and neutral just to be hard to approach. So it's kind of like you'll get poked, whatever, normal stuff, and then like they'll call you out for jump, not call you out, but like control the airspace with like short hop, drag, and forward smashes. And you'll get hit really hard, and then they'll chase for edge guards, and it's like, damn. So I lost that set 2-1. I won game 1 as Olimar, lost game 2 as Olimar, and then I switched to Rose I switched to Min Min actually. I lost 1-3, lost to Ditto, and then like a dumbass, I switched to Rosa and lost. But I should have just went back to Olimar. Yeah, and then in losers bracket, I forget who I fought before I ran into I'm Sheik. And bro, I knew the matchup better than any other Sheik I fought. Like he knew how to play around Olimar's range and lack of mobility so well, and I could just not get anything going versus him at all. Like I took a game with Olimar, but I feel like the game I took was kind of lucky, where I got good calls on his movement, and the games I lost is just like, your movement's too good, I can't hit you, I'm getting punished. And then when I tried Rosa, same thing, it was like, I couldn't hit him, I was getting punished. This was a set that made me realize like, all right, I gotta figure out like how to play against these players with Rosa in Japan, because playing my normal style like does not work. So then I remember watching Yuzu VODs, Japanese Rosa Min Min player actually, and I noticed he does a lot of detether play, and I realized it makes sense because the Japanese players are so passive and so risk averse. So I kind of try to play a mid-range Rosa, whereas like all those like poke heavy playstyles with punish heavy playstyles, and people that know how to fight like basic detether setups and like not detether, basic like Luma setups and Luma spacing, made me realize, this is why Yuzu uses detether a lot. This is what I gotta do, but with my more like efficient pressure, my ability to call people out a little bit better. And it was good wake up call even for the Olimar, where it's like, I gotta just be better at calling people out, like where they're going without overextending on it. Like, you know, throw out aerials, control space more aggressively, and really abuse the fact that I'm really good at purple and yellow Pikmin pressure, but I wasn't using that enough. And then finally, after going to Shuton's apartment multiple days straight and constantly practicing and watching VODs constantly, I was like, all right, it's time. We're no longer rusty. We got some time to warm up in Japan, got used to the playstyle. Kagaribi comes around. Day 1, pretty easy day. I pretty much ran through pools. I fought a Pichu in winners of my pools that upset Lax the Crom. And it was 3-1. Took a game off my Olimar after I won 2-1. Then I won Rosa and just kind of... It's actually kind of scary at first, this Pichu player. And then I got a lead with Rosa and I kind of just won. I'm starting to think I should just go Rosa versus Pichu, because I think Olimar wins. I have trouble with Pichu's mobility. To no surprise, Olimar sucks in mobile cat matchups. I remember after that day 1, I was like, I went to Shuton's place again to practice. Shuton's the GOAT, by the way, for letting me go to his place constantly at practice. And then day 2, Kagaribi rolls around, and I fight this Sonic player named TEKKEN. Game 5, I lose, and I was like, shit. Oh my god. I remember thinking the reason I lost is because I wasn't proactive enough. I was kind of like I was playing way too safe with Rosa and kind of letting him get away with too much like spin dashes and just like getting out of disadvantage kind of freely. But yeah, so then I fought a snake player from Australia in losers. 1-3-1. He actually, this snake player upset Mute. So Mute got like 97th or something. And his snake was pretty good. He tried choke game 1. I kind of farmed it. I think I 3-stocked with Olimar. But yeah, then he took a game off of my Olimar with his snake. And I was like, all right, I can see why I beat Mute. And then afterwards, I fought Motsunabe Falco. This Falco player, by the way, was really freaking good. I think he's the second best Falco in Japan, which is even crazier. Not even the best Falco. Remember, he takes game 1 off my Olimar. And I remember here, at this moment, I had like an anime moment, right? Where if I lose this set, I'm 49th. I'm down 0-1. And I'm like, all right, I've been practicing in Japan. I'm not going to beat him with Olimar, by the way. I can't control the tempo versus him. He knows the matchup. And like, I know the matchup, but I just felt like I could not like get a read on like his playstyle versus Olimar and how to deal with it. So I remember having an anime moment where I'm like, all right, I'm going to switch to Rosa. And I remember telling myself, if anyone who knows how good my Rosa can play has been watching me play this past week, they will be fucking disappointed in this shit. Because I am playing not awful. I don't want to say that. I was playing fine. I've been playing to my average play this past half year, which has been really bad for my normal level of play, I'd say, in terms of results. Like, 30-30 collision and just kind of not showing up lately. And I remember saying to myself, if I want to win this set, I gotta stop playing lazy. I gotta use all the tech I know how to use. I gotta be faster with my play, more mobile. I gotta use the detether shit I was learning by watching Yuzu play that like I kind of know how to play but I don't apply. I gotta be proactive in my advantage state, proactive in my stage control, not lazy in my approaches, like, proactive in like my ability to bait out like kind of people trying to wall at my Rosa and punish that. And I started thinking to myself, like, all these things, like, if I know if I can activate like my avatar state pretty much, that not only am I gonna lose this set to this Falco player main Motsunabe, but I'm gonna lose knowing that I could be playing a lot better than I currently am, and I have just not been lately. That is fucking shameful. I remember thinking all this shit, and in my head, hype myself up, like, all right, I'm gonna fucking play like a fucking speed demon, apply all the fucking tech, actually play like what a Rosa in 2023 should look like, and play like someone who's fought against the Japanese players for a week should play like, which is really, 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 really slow methodical tempo-wise. And winning a Game 5 set versus Falco player. Very, 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 very close Game 5 set. Like, every game could have gone either way. And I remember winning off of a lot of really clutch edge guards on his Falco. So I win that. I feel like that was kind of the turning point for me in bracket, because then I fought Abadongo, lost game 1 with Rosa, switched to Olimar, kind of just beat him. It was honestly a pretty uninteresting set overall when I beat Abba. I got 0 death twice as Rosa, and I'm like, he's probably a Mania player that consistently gets these ladders on me. Let's go Olimar and just, once again, like, not play slowly in terms of speed. It was kind of the same logic as the Rosa, where it's like, play really fast, but play really methodical with Olimar. And so I kind of just won that 3-1 with really good space control with my aerials, and knowing when to apply pressure, and knowing when to, like, back off and not overextend on my hits. Fought Hikaru, game 5 set. I had a lot of them this tournament. And I remember the interesting part with this set is that I lost game 1 with Rosa. Game 2 I went Olimar because he played Sora, by the way. And his Sora is so fucking lame. Like, I'm a lame player, I know that. So I know when other people playing lame, and oh my god, his Sora was lame as fuck. I didn't know he had a Sora. So when game 2 was Olimar, I remember switching back to Rosa game 3 because I did not want him to go DK. DK Rosa is super easy for Rosa, but DK Olimar, even though Olimar should win it, I am not comfortable in that matchup. I think it's super explosive. And I don't like really volatile matchups versus heavyweights as Olimar. I think it's just a kind of a personal preference thing. And then I barely win that set. Basically, time him out. I remember thinking to myself, I lost game 1 because I was being a little too patient. But I have to just play purely Starbit based. Super safe Starbit neutral. Don't even try to burst him down because Sora doesn't give me many openings to burst him down. So, Starbits, Gravity Pull. When he hits my shield with aerials, wait, either immediately respond to like fair and air one on block with an up smash, which I did a few times, or wait out all 3 hits and then do something afterwards with like forward air. So I won that game 3 by basically timing him out. Game 4 goes Roy. His Roy was so weird because it was very platform campy heavy, but then like when he gets hit, he got very aggressive with advantage state. So it was very awkward. I lost as Rosa and then I switched to Olimar game 5. And it was a really close set because he's still platform camp, but he's so good at holding his like advantage state. But I won because he went for a really aggressive like combo, like jab air, and he didn't execute it perfectly. So I was able to whistle the back air, and I caught him doing like double jump air. So I hit him with like whistle back air, and then he burned his double jump, so he just died at like 60. And I was like, phew. So won that game 5 set versus Hikaru, who probably got upset somewhere because that was kind of early to fight him. Fought Dio, a snake player. Game 5 again. I remember actually this set, very slow set by the way. Like fighting Snake, if they want to camp you out, you have to camp him as Olimar Rosa. And I'm not going Mimic versus Japanese players. Like I could go Mimic versus that Snake if it's like Apollo Kage, I would. But versus Japanese players, no, I don't bother with Mimic anymore. The interesting part is Game 5, it's 2-2 Olimar Snake. He leaves Battlefield open, and I tell myself, I feel like the way he plays, like he's playing super slow. I think I can get away with going Rosa and basically camping with Starbits and Gravity Pull to throw grenades back at him. And I timed them out pretty much. I think it was like 3 seconds left in that game. There's a very common theme, even friendlies, where matches go super long as Rosa and Olimar too. Like, I had many matches go to like sub 2 minutes in Japan, even in friendlies. Just because that's how the playstyles play out. But yeah, won that Game 5 as Rosa. He lived to 200% twice, and I'm like, yeah, that's the matchup. Like, I remember seeing 3 minutes left on the clock and telling myself, with 3 minutes left on the clock, I'm timing him out. Because that is my win condition. Oh, so that was a long set. Rosa, Battlefield versus Snake, that's going to happen. And then I fought another Snake player. And I think I mentioned before how, like, Smash Mate is insane. You have so many good players who basically play the online ladder called Smash Mate. This guy named Hurt went on, I think it was like an 11 set losers run. He beat, 9 sets before getting to me losers. Beating Takira, beating Takai, which is the Sonic that beat me winners, beating LY, which is a very good Korin player, beating SSSR, a very good Raw player. Like, he had an insane run. Super underseeded. Best online Snake, probably best Snake in Japan, because even though me and Dio was Game 5 and me Hurt was Game 5, I feel like the Hurt set was a lot harder than the Dio set, personally. And I remember being down 1-2 because I kind of ran to a down B like an idiot at 80. Game 1, lost that game. I should have won. Game 2, I went Olimar, barely won. I remember Game 3 thinking to myself, I'm not comfortable with Olimar versus this dude. Let's try Rosa. I'm comfortable with Snake Rosa, and they farm at Rosa. And I was like, shit. I barely won Game 4. I feel like I should have lost that one. But like, he kind of ran to a purple back here, and I was like, thank God. And then Game 5, I 3-stocked him. I got like a nice 0 death. Stock 2, and I was like, oh. So I won another Game 5 set there versus Snake. Played Pasira Man. And I remember this set in particular, I was very lucky to have played a Fox player Shuton's place called Kananabe on friendlies. Because I got very used to the Fox playstyle of like just kind of run away, shoot lasers, and don't commit to like a purchase. I was able to kind of just contest his laser heavy style with like Luma shot, run forward, poke with Starbits. And then, because he would corner himself a lot, I remember it was a lot of like, you cornered yourself, hit you with Starbits, or grab you a lot, because he showed a lot in the corner when I started Starbitting him a lot, throw him off stage, and hit him with Farage guards on his side Bs. So I killed him like sub 100, like probably 3 or 4 times. And I remember, I should have won the set 3-1, but I fucking choked a huge lead Game 4, going for lots of just like smash attacks and missing a lot of edge guards and getting caught jumping, and I was like, yeah, so another Game 5 set that I kind of barely clutched out with a really nice edge guard at the end. Called his double jump like 80% off stage. All I gotta say, by the way, Fox Rosa is really hard, but I'm never playing against this guy as Olimar. Because I remember Game 1, I went Olimar, and I knew going into the set that for some reason Shuton goes Aegis for him, and not Olimar. Granted, Shuton's more of an Aegis man nowadays, but I was like, let me try Olimar, see what happens. You know, Shuton goes Aegis, I'm sure I'll be fine. I like Olimar Fox kind of. And then I got 3-stocked, and I was like, alright, I now know why Shuton does not go Olimar versus Pasira Man's Fox. If you saw that game like 1 live, you were probably thinking to myself, like yourself, there's no way the Buzz wins this set. This Fox is farming him. But yeah, so barely won the Game 5 set to get on the top 8. And I lost to Riddles earlier that week at the Tokyo Bootcamp event, but I remember fighting him. Game 1, we do Minmin Kazuya. I lose that because I got 0 death like twice off dumb mistakes. And I remember telling myself, I could say Minmin versus Kazuya and probably win next game if I don't make mistakes. But even if I went with Minmin, he's probably going to switch to Terry. And my Minmin is super cold because I didn't play her all that day because playing Minmin versus Japanese players is actual just not worth it. So I remember telling myself, I'm going to switch to Rosa and do my best with Rosa. Lose Game 2. And then I'm like, you know, this is actually fine. I think if I just do what I did Game 2, but like do it Game 3, I should be able to win that. So Game 3, I kind of just beat him with Rosa, Kazuya. Game 4, he goes Town City because I banned FD and Smash Focus as Kazuya. And I remember he's up 3 stocks to my 1. Straight up. He's up 3 stocks to 1. I'm down 1-2 in this bracket versus him. And I reverse 3-stock him through some of the most fucking perfect, like, detether neutral I've ever played in my life. when I say I think this weekend was a turning point for my ability to play like Tether Rosa and like proactively play it without being super gimmicky about it, it's hard to explain. But if you watch that set, you'll see like a super clean Detether play. So I reverse 3-stock him, and then I just beat him game 5 in a last hit scenario. I popped the fuck off there. I have not beaten him since SmashCon. I think I'm like now 2-5 with Riddles, or 2-4 in post-quarantine, something like that. Oh my god. The reverse throw, the way I played that reverse throw was insane. So yeah, I won another game 5 set. No big deal. That was only my 7th game 5 set that tournament or something like that. You know, just whatever. A lot of people saying I've lost stamina for brackets. And I've been playing for so long. And when I practice, I like do pretty, I don't know, I'm just used to playing this game a lot. And I'm very good at conserving my stamina by like, you know, taking like breaks between games. Like, you know, give myself like 30 seconds to relax. During bracket, give myself a few minutes. And just like, I don't know, I'm very good at stamina control, I guess. And then afterwards, I fought Hero, Japanese Bowser. Then we're going to a set. It was interesting. So we played in a crew battle match at the Tokyo boot camp. He kind of farmed me. We played friendlies afterwards, and the friendlies actually were my favorite. I need like 1 or 2 games in friendlies, and I started kind of beating him, but it was literally like I'd be beating him in last hit scenarios in friendlies. So I was going in kind of like scared, but I was also like, I know this matchup. I was beating him in friendlies, and I'm very used to playing Leon's Bowser, who is not necessarily better. I think they're pretty close in here in terms of like their skill, but very different and much more aggressive, where Hero's Bowser is much more passive, I've noticed. So game 1 I lose as Rosa, and then the rest of the games I kind of just say, you know what? The reason I lost is because I wasn't controlling space well enough versus him. Like I was kind of like passively letting him move forward too much. So the rest of the games I played very Tether heavy and just controlled space with a lot of like Tether, up tilt, nair to shield poke him a lot and just constantly control space. So I won that set 3-1 off that, plus a lot of really good edge guards. I'm really good at edge guarding Bowser, I think. And then finally I fought Spargo and I got 3-0 to get 4th. But my Spargo set, I feel like even though I got 3-0, the score hides the fact that the first 2 games are actually very competitive and very winnable for me. And it's very annoying because I know if I can get edge guards more consistently in Cloud, if I can get better at the timing and the spacing on that, or if I can find other ways to kill him, I would win that set. Because he was living to like 150 plus way too many times. And it's just like, if I can not keep him from living to 150, 200%, especially game 1, a huge lead, and they didn't die to 200%. Sock to, and I was like, even though I got 3-0'd, I felt like the way I played neutral the first 2 games was so perfect. And I'm so close to beating Spargo next time we play if I just work on a couple little things to get kills. And then we don't talk about game 3. That game 3 just it didn't happen. I got 2-0'd, okay? Let's just say that. I got 2-0'd in 2 very close games. So overall, even though my Japan trip was definitely a net negative on my rankings, considering I went in knowing I've been kind of like lazy with my practice and not super motivated for the game, being able, I think, to pick it up and really make some crazy adjustments to my game plan, and learning a lot about how to play all 3 of my characters. Like, fighting against people who know how to play against your characters super well is such an amazing way to get better with your characters. So even though I got farmed in Japan for the most part, with 1 really good event, I feel like overall is a really good way to kind of learn a lot and just kind of like pick it up relative to the rest of the year. So that was my Japan trip overall, with 2 33rds at ranked events and then 1/4 out of like almost 2,000 people at what I think is the biggest event of the year so far. Not a bad run overall. Lots of good stories for sure. And this is now the 2nd time I've gone on like a crazy losers run. My last time being at Double Down, where I lost to Frog early and then beat like a fucking million people. Hope you guys like just kind of this random rant of my tournament experience. Wish me luck at Battle of BC, unless this video comes out after Battle of BC. In that case, pass the buzz. I hope you did well at Battle of BC and applied all this shit you learned from practicing in Japan and getting farmed for like a week. Peace.